What's going on, you guys? It's Tommy here from Saleslucky.com, and today we are going to be talking about a topic that's a little bit more advanced, but I think is really integral and important in sales, becoming a better salesperson. Um, you know, today's video is really inspired by one of my heroes, Bruce Lee. And believe it or not, his philosophy in martial arts and kung fu has really influenced my understanding and philosophy in sales as well. So before I dive into that, I'd like to give you guys a little bit of background and context on myself and why I got into sales. So, growing up in a pretty traditional, like, Asian Chinese family, when I was a kid, my parents would have me like practice the multiplication tables all the time. Like, we would go out to the groceries and to get groceries into the supermarket, and I would be like a 6, 7 year old kid, and my mom would be like, "Hey Tommy, what's 6 times 7? What's 8 times 9?" And I would practice that. I would practice multiplication tables, and needless to say, I got pretty good at that. I got uh, you know decently good at math. In fact, I got perfect 800 on both my SAT 1 and 2 math tests, which is uber stereotypical. I know, but I say that because growing up, because of that, I think I was pretty analytical and tended to overthink a lot. And because of that, it created a lot of pain around my soft skills. So my interpersonal skills, my social and sales and influence skills, and which is the reason why I wanted to get into sales. I wanted to get better at influence. I wanted to get better at communication, um, and really have been doing that for the past 10 years or so. Um, within these last 5 years, really selling to Fortune 1000 companies, selling to the procurement departments. If you don't know what that is, that's just the department that buys all the stuff for the companies, and their job is to save money. So they're professional negotiators and they're professional buyers, and they deal with salespeople all day long. So because of that, I feel like I've got a good foundational skill set in sales. And so today's topic is really about Bruce Lee and sales and feeling and not thinking. Okay, so there's a movie called Enter the Dragon. It's actually the last movie that Bruce Lee filmed right before he died. The only Hollywood film. And there's a scene in the movie where Bruce Lee is like training this little kid, and he's telling the kid how to kick, right? He's telling the kid to put more emotion into it, and the kid finally does it right. And Bruce asks him, how did that feel to you? And the kid kind of looks up and starts thinking, and then Bruce whacks him on the head, and Bruce is like, "Feel, don't think. It is like a finger pointing to the moon. If you focus on the finger, you'll miss all the heavenly glory." So when I heard that, and when I watched some of Bruce's interviews, I thought that was fucking profound, and it shaped my fundamental understanding of sales and communication. I'll explain why. When we're talking to someone else in conversation, or when we are in a sales call or meeting, we all speak in slightly different ways. We have our own nuances in speech and the words that we use. And it's important to not just focus on the words, but the meaning behind the words. So I'll give you guys an example, right? So let's take the word dope. What is the word dope mean? Well, it can mean a couple things, right? It can mean, one, drugs, like physical dope. Or it can mean something that's really cool, something that's awesome, right? And if we take a look at another example. Let's say the word monitor. What does the word monitor mean? Well, monitor can mean a couple different things. It can mean to observe something, to overlook something. It can mean the screen that you use for your computer or desktop. Or it can mean like speakers in a studio recording room, a studio equipment. So you guys understand that certain words can mean different things. The same word can often mean different things, especially in the B2B sales space, or when you're selling into an industry where you might not be an expert at. There's going to be different jargon. There's going to be different industry-specific terms and keywords, right? So, I'll give you another example in day-to-day life as well. So let's say you go up to somebody and you ask them, "Hey, how are you doing today?" And the other person says, "Good." Well, depending on the tonality of that response, it can mean different things, right? I think there was a study done, and I got this directly from Tony Robbins, is that, in communication, 55% of communication is physical, it's body language. 38% is tonality, how we're using our words. And then only 7% is the actual words themselves. So if we go back to the example of the word good, depending on how that person responded with their tonality, they could say, "Good." That can actually mean, "Awesome, I'm doing great." Or if they responded, "Good," it could mean, "I'm doing all right. It's just doing okay." Or if they said it like, "Good," it could mean that, "Oh, day's real shitty, like I'm doing horribly." You know what I mean? So what I'm getting at is that there's the words, and then there's the meaning behind the words. Like Bruce said, if you focus on the finger, you're going to miss all that heavenly glory. And I think what beginner salespeople tend to do is they tend to, in conversation, when the prospect is speaking, first of all, they're thinking themselves, right? They're not really listening because they're thinking about what they should say next, how to respond. And they're not really listening for the pain, or they're really not really listening a bit behind the words. You see, in sales, when you're talking to a prospect, sometimes the prospect isn't going to outright tell you what their pain points are, especially in a business-to-business professional setting. They might be a little bit guarded, right? They might be a little bit closed off or scared to be vulnerable and tell you what their true pain points are. So as the salesperson, you want to listen for the meaning behind the words. You want to listen with your intuition. You want to feel, not think. You want to feel the energy, their tonality, their body language. Notice their body language, so I think those things are really important. Another thing that you can do to truly understand what your prospect is saying is you can ask for clarification. So if that person said, I'm doing good, you can ask, "Oh, cool, I'm curious, what do you mean by that?" Or, whatever they said, if you didn't understand it, ask for clarification. I'm curious, what did you mean by that? And then that gets them to expand on what they were saying. That does a couple things. So one, that helps you understand what they were saying, what they were really meaning. It's like peeling back an onion, right? Second thing is it demonstrates that you're truly listening. And when you demonstrate that you're truly listening, it shows that you actually care. Okay? And caring this might sound like hokey pokey or whatever, but dude, caring is the most fucking powerful thing in sales. Okay? If you can show that you care about somebody, they're probably gonna either buy from you if the product is a fit, or at least, they're gonna come back to you when they are ready to buy from you. And also, it just creates trust and rapport. I mean, if you really listen to somebody, it shows that they can trust you because you care, and it creates rapport between you and them. You know, a lot of people think a good salesperson is like a slick talker, or like a fast talker, and it's really not the case. It's oftentimes a good listener. So I hope you guys got value out of this video here, and just remember to not focus on the words, but the meaning behind the words. Okay. And if you focus on the finger, you'll miss all that heavenly glory. All right. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy the video and got value out of it, and see you guys soon.